Joe Miner wants to know when Jim Cornette came to,
Oh,
damn it. When Jim Cornette came in 1993, he was pushing the Heavenly Bodies. Do you think that was going to be a failed tag team from the start? What do you think?
Hell no.
I like the Heavenly Bodies. I didn't think that was a bad team.
Yeah, I thought the Heavenly Bodies were great. No, and the thing about it is that, when Cornette first came in, it was to plug Smoky Mountain. And part of plugging Smoky Mountain was to use some of his local talent and put them on a national brand, and vice versa. Take some of our superstars and have them go to Tennessee and work for him there in Knoxville from time to time on some of his bigger shows. But the Heavenly Bodies, I thought they were an excellent tag team, and we were able to use them. People say, oh, it was nepotism. No, it was corny. Who do you want to give exposure to? They wanted to give it to the Heavenly Bodies. There was no problem with that. I probably, it's terrible to say, but I mean, I probably would have removed myself from the conversation so that there wasn't any, nepotism or anything like that. I think that my brother Tom is one of the greatest talents that ever stepped foot in the ring. Even better trainer. So
I think when people are critical of that tag team, they're always talking about Jimmy Del Rey. That's been my experience.
Well, Jimmy was a hell of a worker. He was just different. As a human being, I've heard
bad
that
stuff.
He's not the
nicest guy,
brightest bulb or nicest guy or anything like that. So, but I wasn't around that much to know one way or the other. And Tom didn't really travel with him. So they were kind of off to their own beaten paths if they were. But Corny coming in, that was to help Smoky Mountain.
That's right.
And then we also wanted Corny to be the American spokesperson for Yokozuna. So it was kind of started out with the Smoky Mountain thing. Then it went to, all right, who do you want to expose? Then he came in, did his thing. And then Vince was like, God damn, he'd be a good spokesperson for Yoko. And the rest, as they say, is history.
Chris the Brain wants to know, was Miss Betty named after someone in Bobby Heenan's life? I know he name dropped his wife and daughter's name here and there on Primetime. Miss Betty.
Yeah. Betty. That was her name, Miss Betty.
Who was she?
She took care of things for the Brain.
She
was just Miss Betty.
Come on now.
Yeah, I have no fucking idea.
Thank you. Abe wants to know, Chyna became, I hate when you go into shtick, Bruce. You're like, I can make this work. Give me a minute.
Yeah, I got nothing, folks. Yeah, it was the name he came up with. It was quick. I'm going to call Miss Betty. Miss Betty took care of that.
Abe wants to know, Chyna became the number one contender for the WWF championship in the summer of 99. Was the original plan for her to win the championship at SummerSlam? Why the change in direction? Was that ever considered her winning the big belt?
No.
Okay.
So there was no change in direction because that was never a direction.
Jason Hawkins has a great question this time of year. Here we are, Survivor Series season. He wants to know, what's your favorite Survivor Series team of all time?
You really asked that question.
Wow.
$1 million team, man. Debut of The Undertaker, greatest team ever assembled in the Survivor Series.
Who all was on that team?
Ted DiBiase.
Yep.
Honky Tonk Man.
Yep.
Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Oh, you nailed it. Look at you.
And The Undertaker. Y'all know who they faced?
I would love to know. Do you remember off the top of your head?
Bret the Hitman Hart.
Yep.
Coco Beware.
Yep.
Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Uh-oh, one more.
The American Dream, Dusty Road, that we whipped you the ass up one side and down the other.
Dude, this is fun. You just did that.
So you didn't think I knew all that.
I did not. I thought there was no chance you'd remember that. My favorite tag team, my favorite Survivor Series team was the same year. It was the Ultimate Warrior, the the Texas Tornado, and the LOD. I just love that they were all the Modern Day Warrior, the Ultimate Warrior, the Road Warriors. That was fun. They called them the Warriors. Do you remember who they wrestled off the top of your head?
I haven't, not even, I couldn't even tell you one.
Okay. Well, it was Perfect and Demolition, Axe, Smash, and Crush.
Okay.
That was a fun team.
All right.
Hey, right around the corner, of course, it's the big Royal Rumble event. Instagram a wrestling historian says The Rock's feet touched the floor before he won the Rumble 2000 match. Was that planned, or was it a botch that you guys made a storyline out of? Thanks in advance.
Well, obviously, the referees that were calling the Rumble did not see it. And didn't have any instant replay back then, so you can't have, can't go to the footage. But, when it's as obvious as it was,
yes,
it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, let's make a story out of it.
There you go.
Steve got eliminated in 97 or whatever it was.
Came right back.
And it just came right back in. It was like, oh well. No
great story.
Just don't call him. Yeah, it works.
Bryant has a great question here. When pitching new shows or names for shows, was there a show name that you were told and you immediately said, that's the worst name for a show I've ever heard?
We don't smoke marijuana in Muskogee. We don't get our kicks on LSD. We don't make a party out of loving. We like holding hands and pitching woo. I don't know. I guess there's something about pitching there. That was all I could think of after that. What the hell was the question?
The worst show name you ever heard. Maybe not like Raw or SmackDown, but even like a pay-per-view or just a one-off special show.
Well, I wasn't there for it, so it's bad to just bash somebody else's work. But the worst one was Great Balls of Fire.
That was a bad one. I agree.
Yeah. That was horrible.
Troy wants to know, what were the plans for Luger after SummerSlam 93 if he would have won the WWF title? Did you guys ever play What If with that? Do you remember that?
Oh, sure, we did. You had Yokozuna, which was a built-in opponent, the former champion, and that was an easy one to go around the loop with to begin. But, you kind of look at that point at the heel roster. I think we had Crush in the mix and some other big heels. But it just... Yeah, we definitely played What If, but I think also at the same time you had to be real. And the reality of the situation was very quickly everyone was realizing that this isn't going to work. This just isn't going to happen. This isn't the right thing. Isn't the right way to go.